fire. Every replay, every stand-up fight, felt it together on race night. Every night that the legends lead, or the underdog, every winning streak. From hometown heroes to the final line, we hold on till the end of the fight. When the string goes down, the echoes remain. Another chapter written in speed and fame. If you live for the more than the racing truth, virtual grip network, that's you. Sign of fame, but the passion stays. Another race in the broadcast haze till the lights go green and the mics ignite. Virtual grip network grips the night.
We are live on the Virtual Grip Network for the OBRL YesterYear Gen 4 Cup Series. I'm Zach Chapman, a.k.a. Shaggy, along with my partner in crime, B-Mac, Brian McCrae, and we've got the absolute best behind the curtain, the one and only Ryan Seneker, turning the knobs tonight, and us three wouldn't be able to do our thing this season without the help of some key sponsors. Top Flight Computers, Kailu Glass, Zero Shoes, and of course, the title sponsor, YesterYear Racing, where past meets present. Last week, the boys went out to play at the Atlanta Motor Speedway, where we saw multiple green flag pit stops and non-stop racing action. It was Matt Watkins who wandered his way up to the front early and looked to have some trouble lurking over his shoulder, but as soon as that trouble creeped in, Matt turned on the jets. And while the other drivers were sliding around a rough racing surface, Watkins was in full control at all times. That ability to keep the car straight and fast proved too tough to beat, and he walked away with his first OBRL checkered flag. Now, with the heat turned up to the max here in South Carolina, can Watkins find the same success? Or will another driver be able to crack the whip and subdue the track known around the world to be too tough to tame, as we have our dance with the lady in black at the Darlington Speedway? Or Raceway, I should say. What a plum there. B-Mac, what do we expect here tonight as we go dancing? Now, you know, I like running the bottom. I like staying against that wall, or staying away from that outside wall so I don't paint it black, but that's not necessarily the quickest way around this place, is it?
It's not, man. If you're going to hang it out, you got to get up on top of the wall, both in 1 and 2 and also 3 and 4. This track is by far the most unique track, stock car racing oval that we go to. It was the scariest track I ever ran when I first started running it, and now it's my all-time favorite track. You were in for a great show. These cars, they have so much power, and this track surface is very abrasive. It's also hot out today, so they're going to have to manage tires and manage that grip and keep their foot out of it, keep them sliding around a whole lot. But I'll tell you what, if you're going to be fast, you better be right up on top of that wall.
Yeah, and B-Mac, this is one of the places here is... Ryan, I should have actually asked you this, but it just popped in my head. Do you have a track map that you can throw up here? No, we don't. I figured we didn't. But so this is one of those places, B-Mac, where it's kind of easy to, almost like your road race, and you can kind of zone out, forget where you're at. You know, the front stretch and back stretch, they look the same, but turns 1 and 2 and turns 3 and 4, brother, they're awfully different.
They are radically different, and you know what? You're exactly right. What I used to do is there's a building in turn 3. There's like a red building, and that's the thing I always use as my visual cue to remember where I was, because the entry into turn 1, you're almost on the apron, kind of flying it up to the wall from there, and the entry to turn 3, you're on top of the wall. So they're two very different corner entries. And if you get them mixed up, you will get yourself in trouble.
Let's take a look, Ryan. This I know you do have, because I bugged you for the points list earlier because I couldn't remember who was at the top of that list. And it, of course, is the general, Dwayne MacArthur, with a 10-point lead over Kevin Strandberg. Derek Paulson still close, 21 back. But I would say the top three right now, obviously, long way to go here, B-Mac. But they've got a little bit of breathing room, you know. If they could just keep rolling top 10, top 15 here the next couple weeks, I think it's looking pretty good for them here at the start of the season.
Yeah, they've got some good separation between third and fourth, about 22 points. So that definitely gives them some breathing room. But you just said it, consistency is the name of the game here. It's winning races is great, but top fives and top tens are what's going to make you win the championship over time.
Getting close to that time here is qualifying about wrapped up. But B-Mac, I want to give you credit for this too, is before, I normally say we're going 120 laps tonight, but something Brian noticed here and is testing. We can almost go 60 laps on that full tank of fuel. Do you expect people to maybe play the game here tonight and one-stop this thing?
You know, if it goes green, and we've got a 31 car field, so that's a relatively small field for the OBRL. It's not out of for us to be able to go green the entire way. If that's the case, I had like 59 and a half laps in practice. Now, I'm sure later in the run, you'll be in the gas a whole lot less, and making it that 60 laps will be okay on fuel. But then your question is tires. This track is so abrasive, and the track is hot. You're going to be sliding around after 20 laps. You really have to manage those tires if you're going to make it that far. So it's going to be interesting to see how this race unfolds, and if it does go green, if these drivers decide to split into two stops and take the tire advantage, or if they stretch the tires and just hit it one.
Well, let's get ready. Let's take a look at this starting lineup, because, man, if this doesn't, take you back to last season, looking at these guys inside the top five, really. We can count Lushin. He kind of cooled off there in the middle of the season, but he was pretty hot. But, man, what a front group we got here. Courtney Nelson on the pole in the 78, to the top shelf of row number one, the 37 of Eric Essery.
And starting third, the 47 of Andrew Kotska on his outside. Starting fourth, the 77 of Roger Hurley.
Row three to the inside, the 11 of Tom Ogle, to the top shelf, the 3 of Christian Lushin.
And P7, the general on the inside, and on his outside, sitting P8, number 20 of Matt Watkins. Watch out for him today.
The 94 of Scott Negus lines up on the inside of row 5, to the top shelf, the 06 of Derek Paulson.
And sitting 11th, the number 27 of Jack Jagerman, and on his outside, the 9 of Brian Lynch.
Chris Bates lines up to the inside of row 7 in the 81, to the top shelf, the 2 of Clay Walker.
15th, the 74 of Alan Wanamaker, and top shelf there is the 09 of Dave Matson.
The 33 lines up to the inside of the 80, of Todd Cousin, lines up on the inside of the 84 of Michael Waltz. Their row 9. I don't know why I couldn't say his last name there. What's happening to me?
P19, the 01 of Kevin Strandberg, and rounding out the top 20, number 18 of Bill Martin.
The 38 of Bob Fellenbaum lines up on the inside of row number 11, to the top shelf, the 28 of Crisco, Robert Borisco.
And the 73, Torrance Child, sitting 23rd on his outside, the 56 of Nick Self.
Brian Glass in the 87 to the inside of the 10 of Victor Lane, there, row 13.
27th, Michael Everhart. 28, Andy Thomas.
John Brown takes the 16 on the inside of the 58 of Bert Dodson. They're going to be row 15. And rounding out the field, the 26 of Tommy Emissy. All right, so 120 laps. If, they believe you, B-Mac, and I think they will here. I don't expect anybody to do anything too feisty here. You got to let the tires warm up, and let's play the long game. Cars roll off of 4 for the final time. We take a look to the South Carolina sky. The green flag is high. It's time to watch the rubber fly. 100 laps to dance with the lady in black here at the Darlington Raceway. Look at that, single file, basically 1 through 10, B-Mac. No time at all. They know it's a long one.
Yeah, there really isn't. You don't want to be side by side, especially early in the race. There's really only one primary line, so everybody's trying to get to that pretty quickly. Pretty clean restart. Looks like everybody got away clean. No banging fenders and no spinning tires. So well done off the start.
No, and I mean, hitting the nail right on the head there was spinning the tires, because they all tell us, they preach to us every week, you got to be good to them. Here, these first 10 or 15 laps, that's when you can hurt them the most. So this is where, you know, I think you just kind of hang out, put the head on the pillow, maybe take a little nap and wait for that guy in front of you to make a mistake here, because 120 laps is a long, long time here, B-Mac. If I don't want to jinx this, but if it would go green flag, I mean, these guys, they're going to be feeling it. This is going to be exhausting race.
No question about it. And you're right. You know, you do want to be smooth because the track is abrasive. It's hot, and you are, you know, have the likelihood of a long green flag run here. So you do want to be smooth and be consistent, but you also got the car behind you, and you've got a ton of horsepower. That right foot is awful tempting to go ahead and slam it down, and it can be really tricky in these cars. That's what makes it fun.
Going to be anxious to see here too, B-Mac. I think obviously, you know, we're racers. We're not mathematicians here, but right now, rolling around, quickest lap of the race is 29.83. It was just run by Chris Bates, P14. Now, when we get to lap 40, if we would see possibly, you know, a second, maybe a second and a half fall off a lap time, do you think there are any drivers who just say, hey, let's split this thing up into thirds, let's do 40 laps, let's short pit, and let's try to win this thing that way?
It's certainly a reasonable strategy, probably more so at this track because the fall off is so intense. And one thing you just said is that the lap time is about 0.8 of a second slower than the pole time. So you can see right out of the gate, these drivers are taking it easy, taking it slow, trying to make those tires last.
Definitely games being played here. Is right now single file, trying to look around. Watkins had a little bit of a hiccup there, your winner last week. Lushin got close to him, but not close enough to really go send it here. I mean, he's there sniffing, may ask for a piece of gum. Right now, Lushin. Oh, Tom Ogle in the outside wall, boys.
Oh, no.
He comes down, a little bit of contact. He keeps it straight for the time being. I think he clipped that wall. He did. You can see the left front. Oh, man, Tommy boy. That may ruin his race here, B-Mac.
It will. That front end damage is going to be difficult to repair. It's going to take some time. No caution, so he's still under green. He's going to have to pit there. And a great save by the general, keeping it going straight, keeping those wheels on the ground. That's a tough beat right there. He just barely hit the outside of that wall. If he'd have been about, you know, a foot further away, he would have made it through.
Yeah, that's, I mean, come on. Who designed that part of the track, B-Mac? I mean, they couldn't have ended defense 15 feet earlier. I mean, he'd have been safe there. That's a tough break for Tom, who right now, I don't think he shot it down pit road. So he is going to keep it out there for the time being, continues to roll around. And I mean, at this point, you know, is he going to win, B-Mac? No. But if you get lucky, we get a caution. You know, he fixes that thing up a little bit. I mean, even willing to go a lap down early. There's no telling. He could finish top 20, top 15, salvage some points here tonight.
You know, that's not a bad idea. The tires are still fresh, and with that front end damage, he's not going to be pushing the car as hard, so those tires will last a little bit longer. And he might go a lap down, but there's also a pretty decent opportunity that we will see a caution. So not a bad gamble there. You can see the field's being really conservative right now. Nobody's really pushing really hard. Everybody's trying to stay smooth, stay in single file. So everybody's playing the long game right now.
So, Ryan, I noticed it there a little bit. I was going to ask B-Mac about it. Now, I don't think it'll be, you know, death or the death of him here, but can we look at Dwayne MacArthur? Now, you remember when, as I was spacing out, Tom Ogle, when he spun out there, you see that damage on the right front, B-Mac? Is that going to be the death of him here?
It is not going to help. This track, aero is important because you do have some pretty high speed on both ends of the corners, and aero is really important. So you want all that front end intact that you can get. And with the damage he has, With that front end bowed under like that, that's definitely going to affect his ability to stay in the corner. And as the tires wear, it's just going to get worse and worse and worse because this makes the tires wear faster too.
That's where what I was kind of thinking, you know, if it starts to push, then he's going to want to give it a little more wheel. And well, we both know that that's not going to be good for the long run. So, man, he's another one that, no, he's not in the same boat as Tom, but man, he could really use a yellow flag here. Let the boys try to work out that fender a little bit.
Yeah, that's a pretty fast repair, so it wouldn't take long. You would not go a lap down, and it sure is frustrating because he's driving the car as hard as he can, but he's just not faster than the car in front of him. And he knows, just like I know, that he's wearing his tires even further too. So he's definitely looking for that caution.
Waiting for Jaegerman here, yeah, as Ryan goes on the nose. I've been watching him. He's clearly got some pace here, but right now just can't really find that way around. He's going to drive it in underneath, though. Oh, we're going to touch, we're going to rub, we're going to bang. And, man, Lynch probably not going to like that here this early in the race, but right now he's living to talk about it.
That is an extremely difficult place to pass coming off turn 2 like that. That's a gutsy move, but they both pulled it off. Yet another example of the great racecraft here in the OBRL.
Yeah, and look at, I mean, two other drivers take advantage. It was Clay Walker and Dave Matson, I believe. And yeah, it is Dave in that 09. I was used to him being in that Army machine. Now he's got Cheeto dust all over that thing. In the 09 is, man, Lynch. Oh, I thought he was maybe going to get loose, but it was the 84 on the slip and slide behind him. Michael Watts, good save there. And BMAC, I don't mean to state the obvious here, but we're sliding around, brother. We're on lap 14.
Long way to go. 45 more laps if we're going to make it to halfway. And yes, indeed, these tires are already sliding around. It's the combination of a hot track and this super abrasive surface. These tires wear out so fast. In practice, we were.
Oh, yeah, go ahead, finish there. But I was going to say, I couldn't tell if the 77, I think, he did brush the wall, but I think that was a case of, hey, Matt, you're a little quicker. Go ahead.
Yeah, it was not too hard of a hit right there. And sometimes sliding across that wall can help you save it a little bit. So, and I think you're right. He probably was just letting that go there.
And now, you know, you talked countless times about Eric Essery here. He had let that gap grow to about 1.1 seconds. If you notice, though, something, BMAC, it's starting to shrink. Double E might be starting to press here a little bit, going to reel him in.
Well, he's just not falling off as much. Eric is a master at conserving tires, and so he is almost always fast at the end of a run, and he's very methodical. You're not going to see him push. You're going to see him run very consistent lap times, really smooth inputs on the wheel. But that's his number one strength, is his ability to conserve tires and come through the field.
Obviously, we talk about how it is a little more difficult to pass here, too. Interesting, normally 18 laps in, we'd see a couple guys, kind of really springboard through the field a little bit. But your two hard chargers, Dave Matson and Michael Watts, they're only able to get 5 guys so far, BMAC. So, I mean, while you want to, you want to say, hey, and play the patience game with the tires like we were talking earlier, you do at some point. I mean, you can't just lay there. You got to make up some ground.
You do, and the challenge here is that everybody's times are so close, both in practice and qualifying, so everybody's running about the same speed. So it's extremely difficult to pass, and then when you get into needing that clean air on top of it, it makes it even harder. And so it's not going to get better as the tires wear in. It's going to continue to get worse, but I think you will see cars start to move up and back depending on how well or how poor they're saving the tires. So tires are worn out, you miss a corner, it's going to be pretty easy for you to lose your momentum and get past.
Go, that's the general up top, I believe.
Yeah, it's 83 took the fast way around. Looks like I think the 84 got loose too on the previous corner. You can see these cars starting to wiggle a little bit. We're 20 laps in. The tires are good and worn in. So again, these cars have so much horsepower, and it's so tempting just to jam your foot down, but it's so delicate.
No, and let's be honest, from the years of beating this wall down, BMAC, there's so much grip up there that it kind of lures you into that false confidence. You're feeling good center off, and then as the track kind of flattens out, you come to the front stretch, all that weight shifts around and you start bouncing, and it just becomes real uncomfortable. That on top of the tire wear, and I mean, you're constantly making adjustments every lap. You can't drive 3 and 4 the same way you drove it the last time around. You got to be making small adjustments every time.
Every single lap. That is spot on true, and it's really frustrating because sometimes you do get into that rhythm, but then that the very first time you kind of scrape the wall, you realize that you should have taken it a little bit slower. But it can definitely be frustrating. But you do have to make constant, consistent adjustments, and you'll see guys actually going a little bit lower to turn 3, running that middle line as opposed to running up on top of the wall. It's a little bit more conservative, not quite as fast, but maybe you get a little more grip down there, and maybe you save the tires a little bit.
Man, Michael Everhart wrecked 3 times there without actually wrecking. And you saw that 71. There he goes. He just almost wrecked again. That's unbelievable. He has got his hands full, and I think he's almost in shock. That 11, he's a lap down. And the 71, you can tell he is a little quicker, but just that car is so uncontrollable. Yeah, it's almost like he's going to wait for Tom just to get out of the way here. I mean, he's trying to survive.
Well, you have dirty air now, too, on top of your tire wear, so these cars get to be a real handful to drive in the middle of the run like this.
Kevin Strandberg took that 01 and planted it on the bottom there. He made the pass look easy, and this is where the guys that are sliding BMAC, I mean, good luck. You're trying to play nice. I know a lot of people don't want to defend too hard this early, but really you've got your hands so full and you can only get so much out of the way that what are you supposed to do? And we saw an example there. Chris Bates almost got into the 84 there of Michael Watts, driving it in low. Bates has the pace, but it's just where can the 84 really go? How do you get it done?
Well, no matter where you run, the car's on a razor's edge. And so it's really about maintaining momentum either on the high side or the low side. But the car is so twitchy, especially as the tires wear in, that really you're racing the track and just trying to keep the tires on the track, trying to keep the contact, the contact patch intact, and keep so you can be consistent through the corner. And what you're waiting on is the guy next to you to make a mistake. You want him to be the guy that gets into the wall or misses the corner, and you make the pass because you're consistent and on time.
Oh, there we go. Bates going to stick it down low, but it's all the further he can get. Yeah,
it's such a hard place to pass right there.
I mean, that car on the outside, he can just let it sing up there, float to the wall, and you're trying to, mount it on the bottom, but just carrying too much speed, VMAC, and this late in the run, the tires aren't what they were here at the start. It's not there for you. Bates going to have to try this at a different part of the racetrack.
It's also difficult because you have to finish the corner coming off of 2, and when you get a car on your outside, you can't. And so you lose momentum coming off of turn 2, going down the back straight.
See Dave Mattson get the pass done there. Jagerman had just lost that spot a couple laps previous to Clay Walker. Jagerman starting to slide on back here. Bates, he may be trying to bluff a little bit there. He showed the nose going down the back stretch, gets up in line. Now this is where able to get to the gas, get side by side in the apex. Now this is Bates to lose here because as far as I'm concerned, he can go as far as the hill he wants. I mean, this is on the 84 to kind of survive, and that's what Watts did. Just backed it up early, let Bates have it, and now I'm just going to fall in line.
Now that was a perfect example of how to execute a pass at Darlington, especially now that the low side is working. He kept his momentum, he kept it smooth, he showed the nose, made the move clean, and carried the momentum into turn 1, and because he had the preferred position, was able to bounce it off that lip going into turn 1 and complete the pass. So well done there, Chris.
Monkey see, monkey do here, BMAC. Look, Kevin saw the plan mapped out. He said, well, if you can do it, I can do it. Well, they touched, they bang! Oh, the 84 gets planted in the outside wall. Boy, oh boy, and maybe Kevin was thinking, hey, I watched you let the 81 go by. Why'd you drop it in side by side? And well, the 84, he's just scratching his head.
Well, the difference is turn 1 and turn 3. I mean, it's just so difficult. There's really not enough room to run side by side in turn 1 and turn 2. You just lose so much momentum. But as we saw earlier, you can maintain momentum both on the high side and the low side in turn 3. So the thing to do is to wait and set the pass up for that section of the racetrack.
Well, we've got 30 laps in the books here as Nelson crosses the start-finish line. We're on lap 31. We've got the top 3 within a second. Watkins hanging out right there in P4. He was last week's winner. And Hurley hanging out in the top 5. I would say really right now, not that you want to count Paulson out, but 6 seconds off the pace. If this thing were to stay green, you know, he's going to need some help. But realistically, Lushin, he's good on old tires. Hurley as well. This is any car in the top 6. Any car in that top 6 can bring this thing home.
You still have to survive your green flag your pit stop as well. And the pit entrance here is really tricky, especially when the tires are old. So these drivers are already thinking about nailing that pit stop and making sure they get through clean. But I think you're right, man. It's not going to get any better. I think the field's going to continue to stretch out. And the longer that we go green, the more likely it is we're going to stay green for the whole thing. So this fuel strategy call should be interesting here. Coming up about lap 40 will be a third of the way through the race. So if you are planning on 2 stops, it might come around lap 40, lap 45.
You're reading my mind because I'm glancing over here at the lap times. Now, Courtney Nelson, his fastest lap of the race is a 29.92. Last time by a 30.72. So not even a full second yet a fall off for your leader. I wouldn't think, you know, he's even thinking about a 2-stop. If he can make this a 1, that's what that 78 is going to do. He's on the rails. So right now, that kind of tells me if you were planning the 2-stop, going my aggressive strategy here, B-Mac, that may not turn out to be the winning move here.
Well, the other tricky thing about that is you're stopping before everybody else does. So for about 20 laps, if a caution happens during that time, you're going to be stuck a lap down.
Yeah, and I mean, you mentioned it being a tricky pit road too, huh? You know, you never really want to be that first guy on pit road here when you're at a racetrack with a difficult pit road that could easily cause a spin or 2 here.
I think this is a situation where you're going to see the leaders set the tone for the race, and if they start to pit early, you'll see the rest of the field do it too. But otherwise, most of these guys are fine on old tires like this, and this will very much become a test of who can manage their tires the best over the course of the next, 90 laps or so.
Gabe Matson and Clay Walker, they're both up 7 spots here. They continue that slow charge. Oh, the 84, good grab there by Watts. I thought he was going to go around, and there you see Matson, he gets the pass done. Now the 84, he's got some company on the outside here. He's going to have a lot of company. Here comes the train.
Yeah, that right rear just gets so worn out, and it just does not hold that corner exit. It's so easy to slide that thing around like that.
Oh, him and Wanamaker, they got to know each other there. Here comes Crisco on the outside trying to fly around. Is Bill Martin going to be able to get there? I don't know. Not today.
Some great driving by the field right there, keeping it together through 1 and 2 like that. Oh, Crisco on the wall. He saved it.
Yeah, and you see how lucky he got. Yeah, I mean, how lucky, though, did he get that he cleared the 84 by about an extra car length and a half? Because if Watts is closer, the same thing happens to Crisco that happened to Ogle when there was that contact with MacArthur. I mean, there's nothing that car behind can do. They're trying to survive the corner just like you are. And, I mean, if somebody slips off the rails in front of you, B-Mac, we're doing about 130 through the corners, I'd say. I mean, you ain't got a lot of time to react.
Yeah, plus it feels like you're driving on ice right now, too, with the tires the way that they are. So somebody makes a false move and gets into it even a little bit, it's not going to be difficult to spin you right out. 84 gets in the wall again, hard.
Yeah, Watts has been struggling, and Bill Martin's just thinking, I got to get around this guy. I mean, you know, I don't want anything to happen to me if he would spin. But Bill, at the same time, you saw he's trying to get aggressive off the corner. He got a little loose, but the 84 taps the wall again. He's going to lose 1. He may lose 2. And once again, there's a long train. That 84 just can't catch a break.
You know, the lady in black is hypnotic, and you hit the wall once, you kind of, you know, go on about your business. You hit the wall twice, and pretty soon you start to see yourself hitting the wall every single time until you break the habit. It's really strange, but it's also really easy to do here.
Who was
that?
That?
Watts coming to pit road.
Yeah, 56 as well. Nicholas Self, who almost lost it when I said, who is that? That's what I was trying to find. Oh, the
Oh,
84
missed
missed
pit
the
road.
pit entrance.
That's a tough break. Just like we talked about, you know, this pit road entry, it's flat, so you have to come off the banking, and you come in and off of turn 3, and it's a blind entrance. It's real easy to miss that commit cone. He was just carrying too much speed through there.
No, and I talked to you about, you know, it's possible to bring a caution out, you know, messing up on the pits. Well, you're not going to bring one up down there. That's the bad thing about Darlington too, where if you have those low spins, you know, they're not always registered by iRacing. It's that real thin racing area where you basically need to be parked.
That's right.
Arthur getting the pass done.
It's a self-cleaning racetrack too, so you naturally, the car's going to spin down towards the inside, and you're right, you very rarely see cautions down there.
No, you got to think, I mean, that's just insult to injury there for the 84. Has to bring that thing around. He'll definitely lose a couple laps.
Yeah, it's so frustrating as a driver to make mistakes like that.
Chris Bates here. This is the battle for, I believe, 13th. Brian Lynch in that Hooters number 9, trying to hold off the 81. Scott Negus hitting pit road, I see as well. So definitely a good bit of drivers going to that 2-stop strategy, but they don't have the data like we have, BMAC. They don't see that the leaders are almost just as quick as when they started this thing.
Looks like they're going to go 3 wide there down the backstretch. Bates has had a solid run today. We've seen him side by side making moves on people all day. So
no, and that's even with 1 or 2 slips out of Bates. I mean, he could be a couple spots further up the road. I mean, he was playing nice guy a little bit there, working passes on the inside. And I mean, that's a patient race. That's what you want to see, and definitely being rewarded here is Crisco. He's got some company on the inside, I believe. Negus coming off pit road here, and this is another one too. I'm glad you did this, Ryan, because this isn't necessarily the easiest pit road exit either. You see, you got to stay under that yellow line, BMAC, till you get to the cone, and I mean, it's nasty down there. It's dirty. It's flat. It's not easy to get that thing up to speed.
and it's slick, and you're on cold tires, so yeah, absolutely true. You got to be really baby the throttle before you get it back onto the track.
Now you see Lushin, he's trying to get the pass done on the 77, and little do they know, they got a man with brand new sneakers right behind him. So that 84 is not going to want to waste a lot of time here. But at the same time, you know, it's that thin line to walk, BMAC. You know, I mean, obviously the pit mistake, that hurt the 84. But either way, those first guys down pit road, you know, they can't really afford to lose time on the racetrack when they already gave it up with the early pit stop.
That's true, and you know you only have those good tires for a few laps, and so you want to make the most of them. It's also really easy to overdrive the car and feel like Superman because everybody else is driving so slow. But it's definitely definitely need to manage those tires, but also be able to maintain your momentum and try and pass these cars in a good spot, just like he did right there.
Yeah, and look at Lushin. Smart man picking up the scraps here. Let him go early. That way he could gas it up in the apex and kind of try to follow him around, and he uses that to his advantage. That is textbook, Ryan.
That was a great pass right there. I mean, you're right. He set him up and took the lead there. We are lap 48, so about 10 laps away from lap 60 stops we're anticipating. Looks like everybody else in the field is going to try to go for it on one stop.
And that really is one, I think, too, where if you're Roger Hurley, you know, you are, when that happens to me, Brian, I mean, it's not a life or death time. We've got plenty of laps to go. I mean, it's what, 72 laps to go still. So you're not going to be kicking yourself. That's almost one that's going to make you chuckle, you know, where, oh, that guy, he got me. You know, he used the pick, he got me. I mean, you got to find the little things to enjoy when the bad stuff happens to you. And now I just saw Lush and he clipped the wall. He's all right, but he decided to paint the fence there in 1 and 2.
That looked like a pretty hard lick. He may have gotten some damage on that.
Bates here on the inside. Oh!
What a save.
Jack Yeagerman in the 27 got a little loose there, and I don't know how he was able to save that. Can't blame Bates. Nowhere for the 81 to go, but when he got help off the nose, I thought for sure Jack was going to end up in the inside wall.
Yet another piece of great driving by the OBRL drivers here. This is why we can run, green flag races, because these guys, they know how to save, they know how to give everybody room. We had like 4 or 5 cars there, and everybody made it through clean. So well done, everyone.
You got the boss man, Victor Lane, running behind Crisco. That would be the battle for 19th, and right now the 28. I mean, he has been on the slip and slide here these last couple laps, B-Mac.
Yeah, he has been sliding around quite a bit, that's for sure.
Now, if you're Victor, I don't think at this point, I think pretty much anyone's still out on the racetrack. It's one of those things, Brian, where I don't think anyone is going to force a pass right now. If you literally are, you're going to wait for that guy to make a mistake, because we've talked about, cars losing control. I don't think anyone really has control of their car right now. So if you're out there on old sneakers, you really are at the mercy, I think, of the guy in front of you.
That's true, and you're very much racing the track right here. Your tires are almost worn out. Some of them, extremely worn out. So really, you're just trying to make it to the end of this run. And if you're trying to go 60, you got 7 more laps to do it. So you're trying to be smooth, and I'm not worried too much about that guy that just passed you, because he's also still got to come to pit road.
Yeah, I think if you're out here this long and you can't make it to 60, I think you played this wrong. You should have came in at lap 40, because, I mean, if you got to come in for the extra top off, the pit road, the distance going slow under pit road, B-Mac, that's really what kills you. I mean, nowadays in NASCAR, the pit stops aren't really that slow. And, I mean, you're going to make it up one at a time with the new tires, but it's just you don't want to make that long trip down pit road. And if you can't make it to lap 60, you better be lifting your right foot off the throttle here and trying to extend this thing. And I'm wondering if that's what I'm seeing Courtney Nelson do, because I've watched this lead now evaporate down to under half a second. And I know he's got lap traffic in front of him, but it's almost like he's making sure he wants to make it to the mark here, not come up short.
I would not be surprised, these last few laps. It's the first run with these tires, the first time they've been able to put laps on them. So he's probably learned, about where the limit is. But if he's slightly past it, he's definitely trying to manage as best he can here.
Crisco hitting pit road there in front of your leader. That probably made Courtney a little nervous. You saw him peak low. He was going to try to make the move to pass him, but then Crisco goes down there, because he's got to hit pit road. And boy, oh boy, that may not look like anything big to the people watching, Brian, but I think his life may have just flashed before his eyes in that 78.
Definitely, especially when you see a car wiggling in front of you like that, it is very scary. And Crisco he'd been tail wagging the last 5 laps or so. His tires were probably just dead shot. So got a few other takers coming in. We're lap 56. We've had a couple of other takers on pit road. Not sure what the plan is there, but to your point, so they probably will not be able to make it the rest of the race.
No, that's where, you're screaming at the strategy guy saying, what are you doing? We're 4 laps short here. Why didn't we come in 14 laps ago if we're going to have to stop this thing twice? I could have been, you'd have been basically running qualifying times compared to everybody else out on the racetrack. So that is quite the head scratcher. That's why I think, you mentioned lap 60 being almost dang near as far as they could go. I expect lap 60 here, B-Mac, to be the busiest we have ever seen pit road here in the OBRL.
If you're going to win the race, this is the way you're going to have to win it, because I don't think you can make up the time on pit road on 2 stops. So that's what everybody's going for here, is just trying to make it to lap 60, 61, and then you're going to see everybody coming at once.
Seeing Watkins there rolling around in that bazooka machine, and it's looking like he's on the one-stopper strategy. They are on lap 59 here, the 77 of Roger Early. He's got to come down. Tells me he's not going to make it. The general, he's coming down. He probably ain't going to make it.
I bet you they're probably still going to be good. They're going to try to, at least. So they might run out of gas, but they're going to go for it. That's probably the tail, the very, very end of the fuel that you can get to there.
Well, I'm loving the chances here, the 78 and the 37, because we are on lap 60. If they hit the pit road entrance this time, that would have been 60 laps on that fuel run. And, I mean, that means they can do it on the way home here, no problem. If they go around one more time, then I like the... Okay, so the 37, he is going to go around one more time. So that's telling me maybe the general and them, you might be right. 61 may be the limit here. So maybe they just wanted to come down first, and they may have heard me. They thought pit road was maybe going to be busy because there are a lot of takers.
I would stay out as long as I could here, not just because it's a tricky pit road, because the whole field's going to be pitting. I think if there was going to be a yellow, this would be the time to do it. So if you can stretch it, I definitely would. And we didn't account for, you're off the gas so much as the tires wear in, so they might have a couple more laps even than 60.
Here comes your leader in the 37, Eric YesterYear, or the man, I should say, who inherited the lead after the pit stops. And this will be a big tell here where, let's be honest here, BMAC, your outlap at Darlington, it's not too much you can make or break here. This is where we're going to see a difference of how good you got into the pits here. If the 37 did it best, or, well, if Courtney's going to be able to get it back.
That is one of the most important aspects of being able to be competitive and ultimately win races here in the OBRL is you have to be able to get on and off pit road in the most efficient and in the quickest way possible. I know when I first started racing here, I would come off pit road and almost always be 5 or 6 spots behind where I was, and I couldn't figure out why. But these guys, they know exactly how to hit road and get the most out of the car on entrance and the most out of the car as they're exiting on the exit lap.
Courtney Nelson wrapping the outside here through 1 and 2. He's going around Eric YesterYear right now, and Eric, he lost a lot of time there. That 78 ace, that pit stop.
Got the benefit of an extra lap on new tires too.
Oh boy, we're talking a 2-second gap. I mean, that was big time for Courtney Nelson. Scott Negus, if you remember, he was one of the guys, he came down pit road lap 42. So it got him to P2 there for a quick moment. But he is going to be sliding back. No offense, Scott, but, I expect him to be falling down this order rather quick here once he gets caught up to.
Yeah, those tires are going to wear out pretty fast, but he's only about 17 laps to pitting on lap 80, for a second pit stop. So not a bad call, especially if you don't have the speed to catch up to stay with the leaders.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, why I was kind of talking the way I was, because I think that's the camp I would be in. You just got to throw a dart here and hope something sticks. And if you're the 15th, 20th best car here tonight, like I maybe would have been if I was lucky, this might get you inside the top 10. If you've got guys playing it too safe as they come up on traffic and old tires where, you keep plugging away on only letting them get to about 40 laps old. And I don't know, this may be, you maybe talking myself more into this. Negus may have a realistic chance here at a top 5, depending on how this goes.
He's the guy that took a risk and did something different than the field, and that's the key. You never know how your racing let's going to unfold, so if you give yourself the best opportunity that you can with the tools that you have, and if he's the only guy right now that's fitting that profile, he's going to be in a very unique position.
Well, we'll give the man in the back this credit, and it's by a pretty significant amount too. That's why I feel the need to say it. Bob Fellenbaum just dusted that fast lap here. He's running 16th. It was a 29.64, and Bob's either getting a lot more comfortable with the car, or he's maybe pushing it a little harder than he should be here.
Probably a little bit of both.
Oh, the 56 in the outside wall, I think, here, guys. He speeds it up, but the leaders went around. He's kind of off the pace. Not too sure if Nick is going to pull it down pit road. He does. And yeah, he was in the wall pretty hard there, but I want to applaud him for the way he stayed in the wall, because BMAC, the leaders were right underneath him. If he yanks that thing out of the wall, if he does anything dumb, I mean, there are a couple guys going home pretty disappointed.
You know, running into walls and wrecking's part of racing, and part of racecraft is being able to keep your car in position so that it doesn't affect anybody else's race. And that was well done there.
Double E just sent me a message here on my cell phone. He told me not to worry. You know, it's all part of the plan here. He wanted that extra lap of tires on this thing. He is already back in the picture. That's down to half a second, and he wasted no time here. But now, do you think that was by choice, or look at that car? There's another car behind him. That 47 of Andrew Kotska pretty close as well. He may have turned the heat up a little bit.
I think so. I mean, at this point, you definitely want track position. You don't want Courtney to get too far away and go run off and leave you. But at the same time, these guys have had one full cycle on the tires. They've got 60 laps worth of lap history now. They got a better idea of how the car is going to run, and this is where you can use this to your advantage and play the right tire game based on what you learned on the last run. And that's something that Eric is really good at. He's usually very strong at the very end of a race, because he's learned how to even fine tune the tires even further. So it's not surprising to see him up front already here.
Interesting choice there too. As I kind of scroll around, you saw those front three. They ran the bottom there through 3 and 4, and let's see, they're gonna kind of run that. All right, so the 78 floats up, 37 sorry, he doesn't like the outside wall yet. He's going to kind of play the middle. Normally we talk about this place, one preferred line, but they're showing now, is it fractions of an inch? Am I kind of stretching here? Yeah, but they're running different spots.
We saw a lot of drivers run the inside line in practice, and it seemed to be just as fast as the outside. And we've seen a lot of passes in 3 and 4. So that low line is working here.
Believe, is that Bates going around? Andy Thomas working under Watts here. He's not going to be able to get that outside place to be there, center off. And he pulled the reins rather quick. I thought he was going to go for it, but he didn't. He backed it up. Another boss man working around here. That was for position, but should mention they are a lap down. Who do we have still left on the lead lap? How many do we have? Am I seeing 19?
16.
Oh, 16. Okay, yep. See, I can't count. There we go. And Bob Fellenbaum, he's got about a full straightaway on Courtney Nelson, so not really feeling the pressure yet. But once again, no yellow laundry here, and I don't know if we're going to get any with the way these guys are wheeling and dealing here tonight. I mean, this has been action all over the racetrack, and right now, top 3 dang near under the blanket. Essery coming with a big run, but he backed up the corner. I thought maybe that was the time, maybe the go time. But you mentioned 3 and 4. That's a little tricky, trying to work the bottom in that pinch tight corner. I think if you want to do that, you're going to want to send it into 1.
Yeah, going side by side into turn 1 is also really tricky, because the preferred line is on the bottom down there, and the top is really slick, and it gets either really loose or really tight and sends you into the wall. So that's a tough entry.
Now, if you're Eric, you've caught him a couple times here throughout the race tonight, BMAC. We always preach, patience, be easy on the tires, but we've seen with this aero package, man, track position can be everything. Is it maybe more beneficial to the 37 if he can get the nose out in clean air and then worry about saving the tires?
Eric is, as I said before, he's excellent at saving tires. He's excellent at being conservative, and he always has the speed at the end of the run. So he might just be content to ride in Courtney's tire tracks here, maybe push him a little bit and maybe get Courtney to wear his tires out first. But Eric is always going to be patient, and he's always going to have enough rubber at the end to beat you.
I just get so nervous in this car getting up close behind anybody anymore. You used to be able to just go up there and kind of take the air off them, but now it kind of hurts both of you. As you see Negas, he gets the air taken off him. He gets real wiggly going into the corner. Roger Hurley goes by no problem. Watkins goes by, and man, Negas, he is just He's got his hands in the praying position here. He's trying to hold on.
Yeah, and that tire differential is really starting to hurt him here. He's got 20 more laps in his tires than everybody else does, and probably will be coming to the pit again pretty soon, I would imagine.
Yeah, I would almost think, if you are committed to that two-stopper, as he slips and slides, he's got to come in 2 laps. As soon as that thing says 80, got to come in and run 40 to the end. It's not going to be the winning move, but it's going to keep that car maybe on the racetrack straight. As you see Watkins take a peek under Hurley here through the center of the corner. Now it's all about that runoff here as we come across the charity stripe. They're side by side. It's Watkins here as we enter 1.
Yeah, Watkins did a great job of maintaining his momentum off the low side of turn 4 there, and it's not much Roger could do. So that's the right thing to do at Darlington. There's kind of this unwritten courtesy rule that whoever has the inside position typically gets it going into turn 1.
Man, Esser, he got there. He started
in the wall.
sniffing. See Courtney tag the wall. I believe he did about 2 laps ago, too. That's what's allowed Eric to just, at some point, the hand's going to be forced because I know he wants to ride, but, man, Kotska's close. And he's going to want to win. He's got the itch here. So it's at some point in time, Double E going to have to pull the trigger here as we roll off of 480 laps in the books. We're 2/3 of the way home. And there is Scott Negus hitting pit road, B-Max. So he is doing 40, 40, 40 here. No reason not to. And now we'll have to see. He's obviously going to go a lap down, but he's going to need to race himself back to the lead lap just in case we'd have a caution flag. That's going to be his biggest battle here.
That's going to be a tall order as far back as he is from the rest of the field. These 3, meanwhile, they seem to be very conservative. Neither one. I know they're close, but they are maybe not working together. But we still got 38 laps. That's an eternity on these tires. So they may not maybe saving their stuff a little bit until we get down to the last 10, 15 laps or so. Because I think we've seen Essery pull up on Courtney a few times here, but he hasn't really pressed the pass. And Kotska kind of the same thing.
You are exactly right, and that's why you mentioned Kotska. Not that I'm going to blame anybody, but, I put the blame on him. I think if we get the 47 maybe up there a little closer to Double E, that may force Eric's hand, and I think if you get those guys racing side by side in front of you, that may be the best medicine for that 47. You watch those guys scar up their tires while you just sit there and smile.
And maintaining discipline here, maintaining patience is so crucial because these guys they have their own tire strategy and they're trying to manage their tires all the way to the end. When you've got another car on your bumper, it of course changes the aero, but you also get a little more stressed and maybe you push the car a little bit harder. So these guys might be playing some cat and mouse, both saving and trying to get the car in front of them to push a little bit harder than they need to.
And you can definitely tell, the 78, he is doing that because, he'll give it up a couple laps and he'll pull away a little bit, then he'll give it right back up, and he pulls back away. And, this top 3, if we're to stay green, the podium basically looks set, but what order they will be in, we have no idea. As we got a car low. That's a nice spot to get out of the way, but, man, it's tricky. You got to trust those guys, or those guys on the high side got to trust you to stay down there. They did. Able to roll around, and here we see the 37 maybe trying to diamond for practice, see what kind of runs he can get come to the starter stripe. He's there, but he's just not close enough to stick the nose.
Yeah, you see him kind of sneaking the nose out, trying to get some clean air, and that also will help him save his tires, but he's not trying to use that to make a pass.
No, and that's where, obviously I love the self-confidence of the 37, knowing that you're going to have something left in the tank at the end. But we just saw how, it's one thing if you trust yourself here, B-Mac, but trusting that other guy on old tires you're trying to get around, that's something else. And, these things ain't going to get any better here the longer they age. And It just takes one mistake here from that 78 and the 37. He's going to get caught up in it.
That's exactly right, and that's what the 37 is banking on, is he's waiting for the mistake, and the mistake will give him the opportunity to make a clean pass here. But there's no need to press the issue because it's becoming so difficult to pass anyway. And when the other driver makes a mistake, they lose so much momentum that pass is much cleaner and easier to make.
Obviously, I expect the 84 here to play nice. You know, he's a couple laps down. He's never shown us that he won't, but I only bring it up for this reason. If the 37 was watching our broadcast, you know, maybe on a side screen, does he try to use the 84 here as a pick? Say, hey, go around me, Watkins. I'll follow you to the front.
If he has the opportunity, absolutely.
I said Watkins. I always want to make Watts Watkins. That is not Watkins. That's Michael Watts. See, now Mike, he's playing nice. He's not trying to get around those guys. And the 37 saying, come on, man, get up here.
It's a battle at the back of the top 10. These guys have been nose to tail pretty much the whole race. It is so difficult to race back in the field like this because you've got all this dirty air, you got cars all over the place, and everybody in this top 10 is capable of winning races. So you got a bunch of fast drivers around you too. It's a really, really difficult place to keep racing. But these guys have been, you know, nose to tail pretty much the entire time.
Yeah, and Kevin Strandberg, who should mention, he's up 10 spots. He's one of the guys that, you know, he did the Eric Essery, the Andrew Kotzke. He went out to lap 61. So he's going to have, and now Barrett only be, you know, a lap or two, but he'll have some of the freshest tires here coming down towards the guys, you know, who are trying to do the one stop. So Kevin, he may not be done yet. I mean, he's 20, let's see, got about 3 seconds between him and MacArthur. So that's a realistic possibility if he keeps his head down.
That's a great run, you know, being very methodical like that, especially in a green flag race. That's key to having the consistency to be able to make these moves. Strandberg's done a good job the whole race of staying smooth, staying consistent, and that's the fruit of his labor.
29 laps to go here. In the front three, still the same way we left them. I mean, running around, single file, that 84 just stalking. Doesn't want to be that guy. I love it. I love it, though. You know, I mean, that's the smart move. You're a couple laps down. You don't need to go up and interfere. Just kind of, you got the best view in the house. Watch it. But I'm telling you, that 37, he does want him to get involved a little bit. You know, just come on here, get around us. I can use you. But right now, playing nice.
And these three are just driving in their tire tracks. I mean, they are, I think they're conserving, trying to keep as much rubber as they can until it's time to push for real.
No, and let's be honest here, B-Mac. This is not that this is bad. I mean, I think this is smart racing. You know, this is the racing that, quote-unquote, pays the bills here. But going back to, you know, the new format as opposed to what it has been, there's not the super reward here for the win over, you know, second, maybe even third. You know, I mean, those points, they all add up. And these consistent finishes, I mean, I think that's going to lead to maybe some, not that we haven't had it here. It's always been this way, but a lot cleaner races for the lead, if that makes sense, you know, because there's no winning in on the line. It's all about racking up the points every week.
Especially over the course of a long season like this, it really does come down to consistency. So those top 10s add up, and those top 10s are what's going to get you to the top of the point standings. And so if you can make a single-digit finish as your goal and stay smooth and clean, you will be up at the top of the championship at the end.
Your leader coming up on the back of the 9 of Brian Lynch here.
This is where we could see something interesting right here. It's dealing with lap traffic, the air, Courtney's out of that clean air now. Now he's having to deal with the car in front of him, not getting the preferred line. Looks like he got through there pretty clean.
Yeah, Brian played nice there. He let him float up coming off corner exit. Now this is where, there we go, double E. He's got to be aggressive. You know, you got to get your elbows out here. You got to say, this is mine. I want it. Kotzke doing the same thing here. Can't afford to waste that kind of time. And, well, the 84, he's going to pick up the scraps here and roll on by. Scott Negus taking a peek under Lushin. Negus has those brand new tires. Remember, he running the 2-stop strategy. Now, he's got a long way to go to get to the back of Brian Lynch, who just went a lap down for that lucky dog spot. He is over half a racetrack behind, so I don't know if, that's even going to be a possibility here, but remember, there are still some other people or are there actually, now that I take a peek? Everyone on the racetrack, so I'm trying to look here. I would say the only one in question, B-Mac, Dave Matson, he's running 7th. He pit on lap 56.
Yes.
Yeah, so that one's going to be a stretch. I don't know if Dave is going to make that one.
He's got to be saving a ton of fuel. It looks like Kotzka's off the pace a little bit.
Oh, man, what a Courtney Nelson, he's going to be able to write a book about all these scares here tonight. I mean, Double E right now, right back behind him. Another case of he was going to peak on the bottom to make the move, but the car goes low to let him have the high side. And, man, I'm telling you, you ever look down, you change the radio driving down the highway, all of a sudden you see those brake lights in front of you. That's a scary feeling. And when you're doing it here at 150 mile an hour, it's a lot scarier, B-Mac.
No doubt. No doubt. I think Kotzka's just having some tire fall-off issues like we talked about. It's easy to push early in the run. He's trying to stay with these guys and keep them close. And he might have been the guy that ran his tires off a little bit.
It's one of those things too where Kotzka, he had obviously B-Mac, we've all been there when you're that third car. And I mean, even Essery was, I want to say, about 3/4 of a second up the road. And then they had Nelson. Remember, he was at 1.2 seconds up the road. I mean, that was definitely a lot of push for that 47. And that could be why we're seeing the fall off. But luckily for him, he's still got about a 3-second gap to Watkins. So I don't think at this rate, he's got to worry about falling off the podium, but he can't exactly, rest on his laurels here. He's got to go.
Oh, I guarantee you, Kotzka's pushing it for all it's worth right now.
Now that 84, I've noticed too, I just clicked back as I'm not always watching Ryan's screen. He did break up there, those top 3, but now Double E not close enough here to take advantage of this move that is probably coming here very soon with the brand new sneakers. He rolls around the outside. And now, Nelson, we haven't really talked about that either, because I mean, how often have we seen the slower car, give up that bottom coming out of 4 and roll that outside? But that can be a handful for you if you're the 78 here, B-Mac. A car coming up on the outside, rolling around that quick, carrying that much steam, that can make that rear end really wiggle. And we saw that a little bit with the 78, but he was able to hang on to it.
Yeah, that's scary too when you're leading the race and a car does that to you. But they both handled it well, and Courtney, more importantly, maintained his momentum. Although we see Eric's creeping back in, and Kotzka's kind of caught back up too. He's made up that gap a little bit. So he might have just been cooling those tires off.
Definitely running out of chances here to make the move as drivers enter through, leaders enter through, I should say, and we're going to be coming to 16 laps to go. Well, I don't know. I can't do that math on the fly, but a little over 20 miles here to play. That's going to go pretty quick. And with the lead the 78 has now, it's going to be tough to knock him off the throne here.
It all depends on what Essery's doing right here. I can't really tell if he is still laying back or if he's just trying to go and can't. At this point, you may have aero issues, and that clean air that Courtney has might be the thing that seals the deal.
And
starting to gap him a little bit here.
Not that we don't even have to go back to him, but we're speaking of aero issues. Dwayne MacArthur, he was still running around inside the top 10, even with that contact there after Tom Ogle. So to say he had a good recovery, that would be modest. That's a great run for the 83 here.
That's a fantastic job, and you're right, underrated performance, especially where that damage is, that right front. I'm sure it's so easy to abuse it, and he's done a wonderful job of taking care of it and staying in the top 10.
Alan Wanamaker going to be next on the get the lap down list here as the leaders approaching him. Eric's still not within that. I mean, he is right at that half second. Now he reels it in a little bit, but if he wants to take advantage of, making a move when he's got lap traffic there, he's going to need to be a lot closer than this. And if anything, I think the longer this thing goes, the more that 78's confidence grows.
Yeah, it looks like he is stretching that lead out just a little bit, and he is kind of setting the pace now.
Man, wouldn't, I guess I'm not supposed to wish this here and jinx these guys, but I've been looking at laps the last couple times around, and boy, B-Mac, if we would get a caution right now, you better watch out for that 20 machine. He's been pretty quick these last couple laps.
We haven't really talked about him a whole lot today. I think he kind of got mired back in the pack, but he's always fast and consistent, set near the fastest time in practice. So it would not be surprising to see him take advantage if we saw that caution there.
Man, oh man, I'm telling you, if he could will these guys up front into racing, putting these three side by side here for a couple laps, that 20, he could get there, but the battling needs to start happening soon as Nelson rolls off before 11 laps to go this time by. See Strandberg rolling around. He's caught Dwayne MacArthur. Now, can he get around him? Catching the general is one thing. Passing him is a total other thing. And we did mention he's got that sick right front. It's still not totally straight there. Strandberg gets a little loose coming off the corner. That allows Paulson to reel him in, and all three of those guys are for position here, Beanback.
That's right, fighting for that top 10, all-important top 10. It's got to be so hard to pass out there right now.
Yeah, and you can see Chris Bates there at the top of that picture, too. So if those guys start racing, he may be able to get that 81 machine inside the top 10, but he's going to need some help as we are really starting to run out of sand here in the hourglass as Courtney Nelson rolling off of turn 4 one more time. 9 laps to go.
It's like Kotzka fell off again. He's just back to about 1.2 seconds. He just cannot keep up with these two leaders. And even Eric's starting to drop back a little bit too. Nelson is really starting to set sail.
Yeah, that's
this
where...
is the time.
Exactly. That's where I was going with this, because this is the time when Kotzka kind of gives you that breathing room. If you're the 37, I think, not that Eric doesn't, have enough left, but maybe not there tonight just because he's smart enough to know that, hey, with this gap behind me, even if I've got something, this is my time to try to make that move, even if it is a couple laps too early.
Definitely. And I think Courtney's pushing the pace a little bit too. He's just trying to make these guys run them down as hard as he can, run the rest of their tires off.
Yeah, now that may have been a case where you saw Courtney drove it in pretty deep. He may have thought that he was going to be able to get around that 33. Oh, Eric YesterYear, hang on to her, brother. He brings it back up the racetrack. He was loose as a goose coming off of 4. That 37, I don't know how he kept it straight. What a save, Eric.
Yeah, that's probably going to just about do it, unless the 78 makes a mistake.
Oh! Dwayne MacArthur, I thought he was going around. We were touching there. And man, Paulson, look, he gets both of them. Big win there for him. MacArthur says, I've had enough. This right front damage, that's tough to deal with. I'm getting out of the way. And now Chris Bates, he might want a piece.
Looks like Strandberg got in the wall right in front of Dwayne, too.
And, man, most definitely biggest winner out of that was Paulson, and I think Strandberg maybe saying, Dwayne, you didn't do anything wrong. I don't know why you went to the bottom. I got the wall. I'm going to give you that spot back. Sorry about the bump. And you think that's what we saw there, B-Mac? Now, not that that's going to make Dwayne, smile any while he's out there racing, but Paulson definitely, or Strandberg, I should say, definitely trying to make things right.
Yeah, absolutely. We have a rule about that in the OBRL that if you do get together like that, the guy that causes it needs to give that spot back. So he did the right thing there. Especially when there's 5 laps to go. That's a hard thing to do when you're with 5 laps to go. But
yeah, and that's one of those things that what goes around comes around, and man, that's just the karma coming back to you there. You make a mistake, it's fine. Somebody's going to make that mistake to you eventually. One of these races, you would think, and you just hope that you're returned the same favor you gave here. But we're down to 4 laps to go, B-Mac, and here comes Watkins. Look at this. I'm telling you, if we could just get a caution flag, somebody sneeze, drop something on the racetrack, maybe if I had the caution button, I'd throw it, because boy, oh boy, that 20, man, he's there.
I think Courtney would definitely prefer that you not do that. He would love to see this thing finish green. Eric's got loose off of turn 4 again. His tires have probably just gone away.
This is where, Kotska, obviously you want the podium, but oh, man, he's on the slip and slide. What a grab by him. But this is, how hard do you defend this? What's the difference between 3rd and 4th here? You got to make sure you bring it home.
That was a great save, and he managed to keep some of his momentum at least, but I think Watkins is still going to get the spot here.
Watkins so good through the center. They're able to match his pace coming off the corner. He goes up, shuts the door, going down the front stretch, and Watkins, welcome to the bottom step of the podium here with 2 laps to go. I said this before, that I didn't think he was going to catch Kotska, but 1.3 seconds here, 2 laps to go. I don't think he's going to catch Double E here.
It's like the 09's on pit road out of fuel.
Dave coming home a couple miles short here as the white flag waves. 1 lap to play here at the Darlington Raceway. Courtney Nelson lined up P1, and well, B-Mac, he never really had to look back. I mean, this thing has been on rails. What a drive for Courtney.
Class of the field, and he has not put a wheel wrong the whole race.
Final time through 3 and 4. He approaches some lap traffic. He's not going to worry about it here. Just stay in line. Collect another checkered flag. Courtney Nelson, he gets it done at the Darlington Raceway. Big win. It's the boys. Man, oh man. This is where, I said it last week, this is where they opened our eyes last season. They went flag to flag, no cautions. Guys, we just did it once again. I mean, that is unbelievable. We're up to 240 laps at Darlington without a caution flag. I mean, go somewhere else and try to find that here, B-Mac.
That's the OBRL special, man. We love our green flag runs. Courtney certainly made the most of it. He was able to conserve his tires and push the pace when he needed it. But I was not surprised at all to see this thing go green.
Definitely, man. That's a way for the 78 to flex the muscles, because obviously you don't want to, calm down what the 37 or the 20 did there, especially at the end. But to lead this thing, to not have any cars to drive off of, and man, just to trust your pace, that's a whole ability and a whole set of confidence that a lot of drivers will never find or ever have. So great run there for the 78. He deserves this one. We are going to step away here for a minute or two, grab a drink, let the drivers settle down here. We'll be back for interviews with your top 3 and your full rundown. Stick around on the Virtual Grid Network. We are back live on the Virtual Grip Network after 120 laps nonstop here with the Lady in Black in Darlington, South Carolina. Man, the Darlington Raceway never disappoints. You see guys go up there, brush the wall, have close calls, but man, it lets the guys here in the OBRL really showcase that driving talent, to save those really should be accidents and able to keep this thing green flag BMAC. These guys, they flex their muscles in ways that they don't even realize.
They sure did, and tonight was a classic example of it. It really comes down to tire management over the course of a long run. It's the hardest thing to do. It's the thing that if you do it well, you'll win races. But it does set the class of the field, and it makes us all race in very different ways.
Well, let's go ahead, Ryan. Let's take a look at that final rundown here. Courtney Nelson coming home, your big winner. Eric Essery, P2, and Matt Watkins. What a drive there at the end to steal the final spot of the podium. Andrew Kotska, fourth. Clay Walker rounds out the top five. Roger Hurley, Derek Paulson, Kevin Strandberg, Chris Bates, and Dwayne MacArthur round out the top 10.
Only 9 cars on the lead lap and finished in P11, so 33 of Todd Cousins. 12th, Alan Wanamaker. 13th, 38 of Bob Fellenbaum after some really fast laps there. The 14th, number 9, Brian Lynch. Finished in 15th, the 94 of Scott Negus with that 2-stop strategy. 16th, the 3 of Kristen Lotion. And 17th, the 10 of Victor Lane. 18th, Andy Thomas. 19th, Bill Martin. And rounding out your top 20, the 09 of Dave Matson.
A final 11 drivers: Michael Watts, Torrance Childs, Bert Dotson, Robert Gorisco, Nick Self, your top 25 in the final 6. Jack Yegerman, Brian Glass, John Brown, Michael Everhart, Tom Ogle. Man, what a heartbreak. I didn't even realize he decided to call it quits. I can't blame him there. He's going to come home P30 after that early spin. And, well, Tom Embassy rounds out the field. But it's about that time. Let's go ahead. Let's bring up the driver who won last week and, man, stormed back this week. Matt Watkins. Shaggy in the booth, brother. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
I'll tell you what, man, you just lit the match a little too late. That thing was on fire at the end with about 20 to go. I had said, well, the gap between Kotska and Watkins is about 3 seconds, so I don't think Kotska has anything to worry about, man. We blinked there for a couple laps, and you're right there. How did you muscle that thing up into the podium?
Yeah, the first run, crew chief, me, made a very grave miscalculation, and was racing to 40 laps, thinking it was going to be a 2-stop race, and then closer I got, I realized this is going to be a 1-stop race at 60 laps, so the first run, I absolutely obliterated the tires, and the second run I had a much better plan, and that thing was really good. I really wish this week we got a caution, because I had things figured out and it was rolling, but these guys are just so good. Again, go Darlington, or green, all green at Darlington, and Gen 4 is just amazing. So congrats to Courtney, Eric, Andrew, all those guys I raced with. They did a really good job out there.
Yeah, man, I assumed you were hoping for some yellow laundry. I was trying to wish it out there for you. I even said if I had the caution button, maybe I'd accidentally click it for you and tighten up this field, because, man, that would have been a fun sprint to watch between you, Essery, and Nelson. You were very quick tonight, Matt, and this pace and your ability to maintain those tires when you actually have the right game plan and, pin that actual lap number, you've got an ability that very few drivers have. You are going to be fun to watch. Hell of a run. Congrats on the P3, man. Who you want to thank?
Yeah, I appreciate it once again. You guys went back and watched last week, and that was just such a good broadcast, and I look forward to watching this one again. Just really, again, thank the league. I just can't say enough for going caution-free at Darlington, and these cars, it just shows the ability that everybody in this league has. So, pretty impressed, to say the least.
Yeah, man, this was, it's funny that, you're kind of saying it like that, because I think this was race 2 or 3 last season. And it was my first year with these guys as their broadcaster, and they did it then too. Flag to flag, and it blew my mind. I had never seen anything like that at Darlington. But man, great group of guys here. And Matt, you're one of them now, man. Back-to-back podiums, good run. Can't wait to talk to you again.
Thank you, sir. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
Matt Watkins bringing home P3, and now you get to talk to a man you're pretty familiar with here, B-Mac. Who you got?
Hey, Eric Esser, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, man.
My man, we're talking yet again and yet again. You put on a master class in conserving tires. Tell us what it was like out there in the early part of the race.
Just you don't want to get after it too hard. You don't really run. You don't know what it is going to be like at the end of fuel run until you get there the first time. So just trying to be easy and watching the pace. And Courtney backed up. You know, he was right there at me, and he was running my pace. I wasn't pushing, but not getting pressured either, so it was comfortable. And just kind of seeing where it was. And then at the end of that first run, I kind of felt, all right, this is where I am at this pace, and let's see what happens on the next. And then after that, you know, it just the arrow just got a little bit too rough, where you get there and you really can't do much with the guy in front of you. So I don't know if there was a lot of racing throughout the pack, but I know that was our issue there. I was talking to Courtney about it, and he was conserving fuel, and I still couldn't pass him. So I don't know. It was fun though. Darlington's just fun to ride around, even if you don't pass.
Yeah, Zach and I were talking about that last 50-lap run. It looked like you guys were all three kind of nose to tail, and we were wondering if you guys were just being conservative with the tires, but didn't even think about Courtney needing to save fuel. And so you're really having difficulty because we saw that you were able to get up to his bumper several times, but just didn't have enough momentum to complete the pass.
Yeah, that's the problem, and I mean, even without the arrow, it's really hard to pass here anyway without him just messing up, and he didn't mess up. He did really good, so that's why he ended up winning the race. So that's what it came down to, just making a big mistake, and he didn't do it. So and then us three, I guess I looked at the little map there and it looked like we were pulled away from everybody. So I don't know if what the issues were or burning up tires, but I don't think we were just able to be out in clean air, even though we were playing with our own dirty air behind Courtney. I guess in the pack it probably was 10 times worse, but yeah, that's pretty much what it was, conserving tires and then a little bit of fuel. In the first run, I saw that we were going to be close to making it halfway, and I was able to get an extra lap for cushion and hoping that would run Nelson out, but he was conserving enough. Like I said, he was able to conserve and keep me behind him too. So, like I say, he did a really good job. He qualified up ahead of me and kept it there.
Well, it was an outstanding run for you too, Eric. You were real smooth the whole race. We watched you creep through the field and be very methodical, especially there at the end. You kept it smooth and never really put a wheel wrong. It's just Courtney was a little bit faster too today. So tell us who you want to thank.
Yeah, just everybody watching, my beautiful wife, Hillary, for letting me do this, and family that might be watching, dad, mom, and brother, and my sister-in-law may be listening or watching, so hello to them.
Great run, Eric. We'll see you next week.
All right, man. Appreciate it.
Now we'll get to talk to the man who, well, it had been a little bit since he was on the top step here. Courtney Nelson, Shaggy in the booth, brother. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
I'll tell you what, man, absolute. Can you get any more perfect than this? I mean, you qualify P1. You basically lead the whole show. You gave up a couple laps there under the green flag pit stop, but this thing was an absolute missile. I mean, did you ever really have to unleash the beast here tonight, or did you, kind of keep it contained, keep the reins on it?
I'm not a fan of fuel mileage races, and that's what this was. At the start of the race, when we took off, I seen the gap I had to the second and third place cars pretty quick and realized that fuel was going to be close. So it went into managing the gap and saving fuel. So we didn't get to really unleash it tonight.
Now, Courtney, it seemed like we're not going to ride along with you as you do it, but man, that pit stop, you gained about 1.2 seconds, total time there on Double E. How were you able to master that pit road entry? Because we know there's not a lot of time to gain on the exit here, but man, you can win or lose this thing on pit road entry, and you nailed it.
Yeah, I had a lot of for Darlington, I dial in as max rear brake as I can, so I practice that in practice, and it's more or less just send it, and hopefully the back doesn't pass you. So that's what I did, because I knew with fuel saving, I'd get the advantage where you can, so you can save as much to manage the gap.
No, obviously, guys they're supposed to play nice with you, but at the same time, they're going to hold their lanes. And we heard Eric talk about, you get up behind a car and, man, this thing wants to push so bad. We saw you had a couple scares where, you're going to try to take a peek down low on a lap car, and all of a sudden they shoot to the inside to either go down pit road or to just give you the whole racetrack up top. I mean, how scary is that when you're out front, and sometimes you can be your own worst enemy there with how you catch a lap car.
Yeah, the first couple I was trying to anticipate where the car was going to be, and then I ran into those couple of close calls you were talking about, and then I just kind of breathed on to exit and let them make the first move. And if Eric, I figured Eric was going to run me clean, so I wouldn't see him just taking a pick off a lap car. He'd let us settle it out, no different than I would, and go from there, just so that nobody's race is ended because you're pushing where you shouldn't.
Well, Courtney, you went out here, man. You had to get the shovel out, brother, but you earned this one. I mean, quickest in qualifying and dang near, perfect in the race. I didn't see one mistake out of this 78 all night. Congratulations. Well-earned checkered flag, brother. Who we want to thank?
Oh, everybody over at LDR, you guys for broadcasting, the league, Victor, all the admins, the wife for putting up with me for doing this on a Sunday evening and everything else. So it's just, I'm having a blast this year. So glad to be a part of it.
Hey, congratulations. Hopefully we're talking to you again next week, Courtney. Good run, brother.
Appreciate it. You guys have a good one.
Well, B-Mac, what more? I sound like the dang broken record, but it makes me feel better when, kind of the new guy, Matt Watkins. Obviously he doesn't drive like a new guy, but I'm telling you, it can't be underestimated how impressive it is. You go to Darlington, brother, and you get no yellow laundry on the field. That's unbelievable.
It is, and even better, all the way through the field, everybody was racing somebody. And so you just get a bunch of really good drivers, a bunch of drivers who really want to keep it clean, and a bunch of drivers up front who know how to manage their tires.
I'm super excited here because, Ryan, pop up what's coming next week, but we're at Bristol, baby. Next Sunday night. That is, if you have any enemies, this is where you settle the score here, B-Mac.
Yeah, we're going to put on a show at Bristol in these cars.
200 laps next Sunday night at 9 o'clock. Make sure you tune in here on the Virtual Grip Network. But that is going to wrap it up here for tonight. I'd like to thank my partner, B-Mac, Brian McRae, the dude in the back, Ryan Seneker, and last but not least, we at the Virtual Grip Network want to thank all of you for tuning in. Have a good one.